So what are you going to do now?
Eat noodles, get drunk.
Is there a phase 2?
I mean, there's an opening at Monarch, but I haven't checked out the perks package yet, so.
Well, I'm sure it's not nearly as good as Apex.
No, Apex has a barista.
We have the pods.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, maybe we shouldn't be looking past it. I mean, maybe we should be looking at it. This whole technical makeover of Outpost 18, I mean, if we can use their tech, great. But handing over a Monarch asset to a private company, it does not make sense.
Yeah, I know. Welcome to the free market.
Look, I'm telling you, they are up to something, and we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg. I just think it would be nice to know someone on that particular iceberg.
All right, I'm feeling like a little drunk, so you need to stop talking in metaphors and tell me what you want.
What I want is for you to ask Brenda Holland for a job. I want you to be a mole at Apex.
So what, you think that they're up to something?
I don't know, but they seem pretty damn invested in it. If they're up to something, it could start another G-Day.
Hey, Kaiju fans and Podcastica listeners. Welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Dimitri.
And in this episode of the podcast, we are covering Monarch Season 2, found on Apple TV+, Episode 3, entitled Secrets. So, would you like to give our listeners the synopsis of this particular episode?
I shall. Shall. There you go. Shall.
Shou, Sha, She, Shay. Yeah, Lee Shaw.
Wrong continent. Shaw. There you go. Keiko, Hiroshi, and Kentaro go rogue in an attempt to find Titan X. Kate struggles with feelings of guilt. A buried secret is exposed.
Yeah. Oddly enough, it's something that we've probably speculated over from season 1 till now.
Yeah.
And a few other things that have happened, especially regarding Billy Randa. So keep in mind, listeners, I did not state it in the very beginning, but I will state it now. This is definitely a spoiler-full podcast. So we're recording this on the 15th of March. It's a Sunday. You had a few days to really watch this episode. I watched it a couple times. Dimitri, I'm sure you watched it a couple of times as well. So if you haven't watched the show and you don't want to be spoiled, please stop the podcast now. Go back, watch it, come back to us, and then listen to our thoughts. And, you know, hopefully you will feel the same that we do. So with that, we'll move right forward and go into our initial thoughts. So I know this wasn't as an action-packed kind of episode as we're used to when it comes to Monarch, but Dimitri, what did you think about the episode? Did you think it had clarity in the characters and the drama that goes on within these characters, or any similarities to anything else we know in the Monsterverse?
Oh, definitely. I actually do appreciate this episode a lot because it slows down. It gives us that breathing room with the characters. And I'm always a sucker for that sort of things with the human characters. And I wish we did get that more in, like, the films and all that. And we get to know these characters even more and see one of them spiral as one would with what happened in Try 13 and then with Titan X and the feeling of guilt with the whole just everything.
Yeah, I get you. Same here. I still think it's very key and very important to any kaiju film that, yes, the human element is very much important to the story, and this is what provokes it and moves it along when it comes to a kaiju style film. Because honestly, if all we had were monsters on it, and I said it before, if all we had were monsters on the screen, that's all you would have, and there would be nothing else and just destruction. Obviously, we see the effects of that within Kate. We get a flashback at a certain point We see how she is still struggling and feels responsible for releasing a new Titan upon the world. And on top of that, we get talking about secrets. We talk about, I already mentioned in the very beginning and suggested it. It's something that whole Lee and Keiko relationship that's underlining. You knew that was something always there, but there's something else that also mirrors what's going on with Hiroshi and his own families plural, everybody. So it shows that, son is very much like the mother, I guess. So, and then on top of that, you have other secrets that are, that are revealed to not to just us, but we've already known them from like what was hidden, but also revealed to the other characters. Like Hiroshi, she has a conversation with Hiroshi. We'll get into that in big time. Those are like key points within this, but we get more stuff in here that's more relatable to what we saw in the MonsterVerse movie series, because Apex comes in. And if you guys paid attention to in the introduction, you'll see a Monarch logo, but you also see the Apex logo. And then we get them involved in situations, and we get another character in this particular episode. And I really looked forward to seeing him. So, Dimitri, did you have any favorite moments where there is like a specific moment you want to talk about? Because obviously the episode starts off right where we left off in 1954 in Chile, where Lee and Keiko are running for their lives and then had to ditch and jump and find protection. And then they're left with a unhappy village after them.
So it was 1957, I believe.
Whoops, my mistake. I keep thinking 1954. It's so funny.
I mean, Godzilla 1954, there's no way you can't automatically think 1954, so I get it. This definitely goes also into the fairy quotes, but Keiko's whole letter to Lee, it really signifies how different she is from Hiroshi and Kate, where she's actually been an actual adult about things.
Yeah, she's actually leaving him a letter, but just to Lee itself. But apparently Hiroshi has and I guess Billy and Hiroshi have Lee's stuff, and Lee has been missing. He's been gone too. So he's probably been gone at the time when they did another thing where he went to Hollow Earth for a few years, probably.
I think that was in 61, and then this flashback was in 62. So a year. Yeah.
So, and it just so happens that Billy finds it after Hiroshi was going for the sharpening stone to sharpen his knife, and that's the end of the episode, everybody. But obviously, this is something that comes back. And we mentioned, I like the fact that when Lee and Keiko have to go look for and we're going in and out of sequence, everybody, so please keep in mind, spoiler full, but we're going backwards and forwards, just like the show. Anyhow, Lee and Keiko have to go find the diagrams and schematics for Hiroshi's his little project that he had, because
Titan Talker.
Yeah, the Titan Talker
called it.
I think that's what they called it too, and it was for his initial prototype, because they lost the original one that they had that was functional, but the prototype apparently is more stronger. It's hidden in Japan in a warehouse, and his office is not far away. But they go through Hiroshi's files. We get the conversation how Hiroshi is very much like his father. And Keiko says that loosely about Billy, because Billy was very much the same way. Because I guess she just refers to him as, Hiroshi's father. And then she sees the pictures of the two, and wait, Kentaro and Kate have two different mothers? And it's like, oh, well, did he divorce? This is not my conversation, basically. And kind of shuts it down. You need to talk to the source, pretty much. It's Lee trying to avoid the conversation because it's not his conversation to have. he's like, I've been devoid of being in this family for so long that I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers. So, and then we have that conversation with Hiroshi and Keiko when they're outside, and basically he kind of tells her that, Billy abandoned me, hence why my accent is different than yours. With his grandmother, and that would probably be his real father's mother, I would assume.
Yeah.
So I would say, wow, she got thrown, but she's kind of accepting and wanting to have that relationship now with Hiroshi as he's older, because this is family. It's a family thing, obviously, especially with Lee in the mix now. But we also get that little conversation in the note itself, maybe in a different life later on.
Yeah. And as soon as I heard that, like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, exactly, right? So, and you knew the way Lee was hiding himself in Hollow Earth when he didn't want to reveal himself and he was older. It showed. Yeah. And why would he go back for years in Hollow Earth looking for her and back and forth all that time? Yeah. And there was a reason. We all knew it. It's just now it's more apparent. It's in our face. It's blatant. So that was pretty cool. I'm really loving the Apex situation. They bring them on. Yep. Monarch brings them on because they need their tech. So literally Tim is like overblown with these guys infiltrating their boat and saying, hey, we're here to fix your sensors and this and that and the other, blah, blah, blah. And Jason Trissop says, oh, no, we were hired by your company. I'm in charge. You are not in charge. This is what we're doing. And oddly enough, played by a really great actor who I really have loved since Fear the Walking Dead, and that would be Cliff Curtis. And Cliff Curtis, as we all know, is in Avatar, the movie series, everybody, not the animated version. Anyhow, so we have him in the mix now as a representative of Apex. And I love how Tim kind of breaks it down to Shaw, Keiko, Kentaro, all of them about how Apex is. And he sees it as an ulterior motive. Now, we as listeners, so you're going to have to correct me at times with this, Dimitri.
Yep.
So
I got my correcting brain on.
There you go. Correct brain for Mark. We do get Apex a part of the Monsterverse and a major portion come Godzilla versus Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And within that one, they use the Ghidorah skull to power the Mechagodzilla.
Yes.
And that goes crazy, which is reminiscent of what else too in our Toho history, Dimitri.
Oh yes, technically twice because of the manga of Godzilla versus King Ghidorah 91.
Yes, with that, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, because we get a Mecha King Ghidorah at the end, but they utilize the original Ghidorah. Yeah. Without the one head, they replaced it. Spoilers, everybody, if you've never seen it. It came out in 1991.
Yeah.
So
and then to continue to even like stuff about the manga, more so in Godzilla vs. Godzilla 2 manga from 1993.
Yes.
In that, the spirit of Mecha King Ghidorah actually takes hold of Mechagodzilla in that manga.
Yes. And you talk about the manga, the comic. Yes. Yeah, okay. Yes. All right. Just to keep them up with it, we're referencing a lot of things. So I'm referencing the Heisei series of Toho at this point, which was the 90s all the way up until the 2000s. And then he's regarding the comic versions, and mind you, comic is still valid in the Godzilla universe. Hell, even the animated one that's on Netflix has the largest Godzilla known to man on it, and I have yet to watch that. And what was it? There was another one where they used hold on, I gotta read my notes because I thoroughly put it in there, and I was just like, I know I have to see this. Yeah, we mentioned 91. Oh, okay. Similar to what had happened in a few using skulls or parts of from Kaiju. I kind of got that in my notes. Godzilla's like Mech Kyru.
Mecha Godzilla Type 3 or Kyru.
Yes. And they used the skeleton from the original 1954 Godzilla from 2002 and 2003 in that particular film.
Yep.
Yeah. So that came out when 2002 and 2003. So it was the same thing. It was a Mecha Godzilla, and they just took the bones of the 54 version, everybody, and they threw it in there, and it kind of went, oopsie, I'm gonna go crazy. Which is a very different plot in the sense of Mecha Godzilla in those films were not made by aliens. They were made by humans, which they utilized in the 2020 version of Godzilla vs. Kong, which is really cool. Now that we've baffled you with all this Toho and other Godzilla knowledge, we're just going to move right along into this actual show. Just we're not here to flaunt and show, hey, look at this, but there's references that do make it apparent, and I highly recommend you, if you haven't watched Godzilla vs. Kong 2021, do so. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah in 1991. And the Godzilla versus Mecha Godzillas that had come out by 2002 and 2003. Check those out just for fun. I would say put on the dub version, if you're not ready to read, but do so. And it's still more effective. I keep saying that. I love how at the village, when the villagers go after, they want to get the camera from Keiko at that point. I'm wondering if that kind of is going to come up later on again. I know they took the film out of the camera and they left the camera, but there's got to be something there. And then there was that one lady, the one woman that was trying to stop them from killing them, but saying, hey, we'll just banish them. They'll just go be crazy people in the real world. And the other people wanted to kill them. So she saw their backsides at a certain point and let them go.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, they were able to seek shelter. And yes, we do see, and that was what we were talking about before. Yeah, Keiko and Lee getting together. So that was something that was speculated, that we all knew. It was just right now, it's like, here it is. This is what happened. And then we get the note at the end. And it's kind of segueing into what we get now. And present day. So I think they're moving this a little bit along too with that, so that they could easily spark another re-romance between Lee and Keiko.
Yeah. I mean, I can forgive it because heightened time of heightened emotion. That's not very good. So I get that, and I can give the show for this, as well as I mentioned before, Keiko being the adult out of the three generations.
Yeah. Kudos to the writers and everything, because when they have this conversation about using the prototype right in front of the prototype and how it was a big signal, a Godzilla signal, and they said, well, that's what happened with G-Day or whatever it was. We didn't want to get another G-Day. It's a Godzilla. She goes, well, you called upon Gojira? And she uses Gojira instead of Godzilla as a term.
Yes, I love that. I love how the Japanese just use Gojira. It is my favorite thing.
Yeah, same thing. Well, it makes sense. It's where we wouldn't have a Monarch Legacy of Monsters without Japan at all. Then again, all the crap that we have done to them as Americans back in the day, but we're not going to get into that, and that's bad history. Anyhow, we had like I listed them as three secrets that we do get out of this. Number one of which is Hiroshi and his his little prototype for the the Godzilla calling device. Number 2 would be Keiko and Lee, and that mystery being solved and that showing up. And number 3 would be Keiko having that little conversation with Hiroshi about his long talk. So there's 3 moments in this episode that bring up secrets. But we do get people moving along. Like Keiko is running from her problems, which is interesting because she has this conversation with May on top side of the ship and she's ready to leave. She wants to go back to San Francisco. And we do get to see her mother again, which is amazing. We haven't seen her since last season. And I'm forgetting if that was her mother's boyfriend or her stepfather. I don't know if they got married because do see them in pictures. It looks like wedding pictures. So I'm assuming that's her stepfather.
Yes.
Because they figured, oh, Hiroshi disappeared. He's gone. I could get married again. So she's back home.
I mean, they did get a divorce while May and Kate was in the accident Monday. So
yeah, true. Yeah, if you think about it. But they so we get Kate coming back home and she reconnects with her friends. And for a lot of the viewers who have not rewatched season 1, forget that Kate is, she's a lesbian. She's gay and she has that affection for women. And she reconnected with a woman, a friend of hers who was another teacher. Mind you, she did lose her girlfriend during G-Day when that happened. And she feels responsible for that and losing her friend. And then on top of that, getting all that flashback, all that guilt. We get a moment where we think at the very end where she's like looking at the San Francisco bridge, like split in 2.
Yeah.
That you, in the back of her head, that she's going to go, or in the back of our heads, thinking that she's going to go back and try to do something to help because I think she's felt a sense of responsibility, which is I'm looking forward to, because I think the core part of it is the family itself. That would be Lee, Keiko, Hiroshi, Kentaro, and Kate. May is involved in there too, but we get the cool thing with Tim going behind Apex's back and getting May to go talk to her friend in Apex who tried to originally recruit her to get her to join so that way they could have a double agent. And I thought that was pretty cool. So she gets a live feed and she does see them stealing all the stuff from the prototype from the warehouse. I
100% that they either have that or make a better one of the prototype, either one of those two, and that's going to be Mechagodzilla's eye.
Yeah, well, it does have that same look, like that roundishness with the red in it. Yep, I would not put it past that we do get to see that utilized, and then because we have to realize, everybody, that this is like a couple of years before, or a few years before we get that whole Godzilla versus Kong, I believe.
Yeah, it's Godzilla vs. Kong takes place in 2024. And at this point, according to the lore, Apex has been a thing since 2014. And who knows how long they've been building Mechagodzilla at this point. So, I mean, they could have the schematics of, they could have just a torso done, working on the head and the legs. We don't know until, and if, cross my fingers, if we actually see like a hint of the building process of Mechagodzilla.
Exactly. Yeah, there's always that to deal. Plus, we got the other people that are involved with Apex from the films that we didn't see come back into Monarch at this point that were pretty much responsible for that Mecha Godzilla at that point. Now, mind you, my thoughts of like how that Mecha Godzilla looked was so crude in comparison to what Toho we used to get. It's not refined in any way. It looks like
I love that.
It looks like an erector set.
I personally love that bit because it's not built. It's like the first prototype, or at least field tested prototype.
Yeah.
So if it was like all polished or shiny, I'm like, how? Why? Why are you prioritizing the shininess over getting it done, make sure everything works. and making sure that it can kill Titans?
I think that was its first appearance to even try to attempt anything with a Titan. They never, unless we get something else within a Monarch season that we don't know yet, that we get to see it. They take it out on a field test on a Titan that's gotten loose. I doubt they'll use it against Titan X, because if you look at the difference in size between Titan X and Godzilla and King Kong, forget it. Yeah, it'll just destroy it in a heartbeat. It'll stomp on it and that's it. Or maybe that's the reason why they had to make another one. Who knows? Maybe this is, the second mech that they have to do. Very similar to if you all like, we always mention Pacific Rim, but think about that. The one thing I did like in the very beginning too is when we got with Titan X, when she did go out into the water, all the scarabs go and she collects them upon herself. We kind of mentioned it last week of how you got these whales, and you said sharks and things like that have like these little animals that come around. We mentioned the Cloverfield monster itself had something similar to that effect. Now we got it for certain that these things revolve around it. Whether or not it's a baby or these are its babies, who knows? But that would be a reason for it. We don't get any more detail or information regarding this particular Titan, but I'm sure in time, because this is the big bad for this season, and this is what we're following, we'll probably get more encounters with it. I'm curious of what other Titans show up, because right now this is the only Titan that we've been dealing with, other than the stuff that we saw on Skull Island within that first episode that they went kind of crazy with. Now it's like, all right, well, we're slowing it down a little bit, and then they'll probably slow it down for this episode, which we got a lot of important drama, a lot of important key story, and opening up more about the characters and developing those characters. So especially like things that we kind of knew but we didn't want to say, like Hiroshi's his detesting of Monarch and how he hated the fact that Billy and Keiko, his mom, work constantly. That's how he sees it. It's like, you just work all the time. That's all you think. It's Monarch, and this and that. And then it got to the point where he had to say it. It's been how many decades since he saw his mom after she disappeared, and he couldn't necessarily say that to Billy. And well, we know he's gone from the 70s.
Yep.
So he can't really do that. Uncle Lee is just Uncle Lee at this point. He's trying to help out as much as he can, which kind of made me laugh too when Tim was talking about Apex in comparison to Monarch. And Lee kind of mentions as they're walking, trying to get to the boat to get away, to go to Japan, because I'm kind of liking these guys. I'm like, whoa, wait. Ooh, there's something strange there. I don't know if he was being sarcastic or he was just being honest of like, oh, these guys sound better. But it could be like, that's all we need. More people in the mix that create more problems with these things.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I did enjoy the episode. I really did like it. Those are key parts in it. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the story of really where we left off with Billy and Lee and with Keiko in 57, because he just saves them. He missed so much.
Oh yeah.
He just shows up, and he's been using the boat to go all the way around to find them, finds them in time at least, so that the villagers don't get them. And that's it. That's where it kind of left off at with that. And with the others, they're in the process of trying to get away from Apex in Japan. They didn't make it back to Monarch, the ship, yet. Kate's still in San Francisco, so I guess we'll have to wait and see next week when we get more on what's going on with the show.
Yep.
I think the show is 10 episodes long, as I recall. Yep. So we're on 3, so they got a lot more to fill. And with them being about 45 minutes to maybe an hour, depending on what we get and what they decide to give us, is going to be interesting. That's about it for me as far as my overall thoughts and favorite moments and interesting moments within the show. Do you have any notes, Dimitri?
I do like the how everything is affecting Kate. Because I'm very much of a fan of whatever happens in a kaiju movie or show or whatnot. Just continually affects the characters mentally.
It does. I do agree with that. It does. Yeah. Literally, if you remember the original Godzilla versus Kong from the 60s, how they were involved, and it was like the guy creates that line that is able to carry Godzilla. It's like, look, I'm bouncing outside the building with it, and they're like, oh, it's like, and it was like 3 friends or whatever it was, a brother and sister and a guy, and it had that kind of chemistry just the same way. It's interactive. So yeah, you do get that, and that's the whole point. I'm glad that they used that and they utilized that within the show, as well as even within the movies itself through Legendary. What was it with what was it? Which one? It was Godzilla King of the Monsters, I believe, with Millie Bobby Brown and what was it, Vera Farmiga in it, and her character had this thing where it kind of worked with sensors, just almost like what Hiroshi was. I'm curious to see if that comes into play. Maybe she worked with Hiroshi. Who knows? We don't know where Dr. Sarazawa is, or will we get to see Dr. Sarazawa? Because we're still within that time, aren't we?
Yeah, though I don't believe, because he could be, because they wanted him to cameo in season 1, but scheduling conflict. So
it could be a flashback. We don't know, everybody. All right. With that, I don't have any needle drops. There wasn't really major music, but we did see Kate dancing up a storm in the in the bars. She was having a good time. She was trying to let loose and cut loose. I only have one quote, and this comes from Jason Trissop, and it's regarding what they are doing to the ship's sensors to Tim. And he goes, well, you can call it an upgrade if you say that dropping a Ferrari engine into a Pinto is a tune-up. And literally, that's what they were doing, is they were putting a lot more tech into their boat. Now, mind you, the boat itself that Monarch is using to ship looks like something out of S.H.I.E.L.D. from Marvel, in my opinion. I'm waiting for this thing to fly at one point, but okay.
At least we now know where the Agro potentially came from, thanks to Apex.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, that's all I have for quotes. Did you have anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go right into feedback because, mind you, this is our 3rd episode, everybody. of this particular podcast, yes, it's also posted on Podcastica. We haven't received any feedback, but we do leave it out there. I've been diligent about putting that out, at least on a Friday. I know it comes out Thursday night, the show, but I put it out Friday morning, possibly, so that way you guys could send some sort of feedback. With the way you could send feedback, there's several different ways. What you can do to send any sort of feedback, well, for Kaiju Cast itself, the podcast, we can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast player of choice that you have. There's going to be ratings or review. Please put a rating or review. It directly affects us. It'd be amazing if you guys could do that. You could check out all the other podcasts on the PirateCoreEntertainment.com website. We will eventually have this on there as well, but obviously it'll just be links for you to follow us and everything else. But in the meantime, if you want, you just go to our Facebook group, facebook.com, Kaiju Cast Podcast. You could email us at kaijukastpodcast@gmail.com, or you could just go to our Instagram at kaijukast_podcast. We could be found on YouTube. So you just look for Kaiju Cast Podcast and just subscribe, press the thumbs up, and you can leave some sort of feedback if you want. For Podcastica, for those of you who are Podcastica listeners, or if you're going to be listening to anything Podcastica, you could send a voicemail or a voice message at talk@podcastica.com. That's an email, everybody. talk@podcastica.com. And if you head to podcastica.com, there's a handy voice message link as well. You can record your voice and, Jason could shoot it over to me as soon as you can. Check them out on social media like Facebook, facebook.com/ or back. I always forget if it's a backslash or, I would say backslash. So facebook.com/ Podcastica. Twitter, you can find them at Podcastica, and in Instagram at House Podcastica. So just check all those out. There's various different ways for you to get us any sort of feedback. It'd be greatly appreciated. I love it when people get more interactive. And as always, please check out all the other stuff that's on the Pirate Core Entertainment website. And that would be piratecoreentertainment.com. So where could other people hear you?
You guys can hear me at my YouTube channel, Godzilla Kyru. I do kaiju film reviews. I do some podcasts, and on a related kaiju note, me and a friend are planning to do our own little podcast about Power Rangers, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, the Metal Hero series, and a lot of that sort of show movie stuff. And
Awesome.
Yeah, it has its own YouTube channel. It's in its infancy, and it's essentially one kaiju nerd and wrong kaiju. one rage. It pretty much has one ranger nerd and one ranger newbie. So that'll be fun.
Okay. All right. Well, Super Sentai literally is Power Rangers. It's just the Japanese version. Everybody out there who's not very much familiar, that's where they got it from. A lot of what you see in Power Rangers, guess what? Is Super Sentai, if you think about it. What I also like too about those Japanese shows too, guess what? They had a Spider-Man show back in the day too.
I know.
It's got a big robot in it that he uses too, which is hilarious. Yeah, everybody check that out. Check out everything that Dimitri has. He's going to be sending me that information. I'll copy those links in the notes, so you have that. That way you can just click on them. For me, well, as always, you could hear me here on Kaiju Cast Podcast, as well as my other podcasts. That would be Panels the Pixels podcast. Right now, we're taking a little bit of a hiatus. At the end of the month, or probably in the very beginning of April, we will start our coverage on Daredevil Reborn, or Born Again. I'm forgetting the name, and I'm going to get yelled at by Steve again about this. I'll get it right one day. But we will do that. And then eventually The Boys is coming out. And I had mentioned it. Spider-Man Noir is going to be coming out too around that same time for Prime. I will still like to put something out there. I want to probably do an overall for the Spider-Man Noir, but it has one of those odd character actors that you would never expect to be one of this. He's already played Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage, of all things. So, yeah, we'll be back with that. You can hear me on Adrenaline Cinema Podcast. We just released, of all things, our 25th year-end review, 2025 year-end review, I should say, not 25th. And like other people, we put it out there. We do have mentions of what was going on with the Oscars. As we're recording now, the Oscars are going on now as we're recording this particular podcast, which is funny. So, but we look forward to whatever other information we can get out to you. Hopefully with Godzilla Minus Zero, when that's going to come out, we should be getting more information about that. And there's more stuff brewing in the background for the legendary film, which is I forget the name of the movie. It's another X series, isn't it?
Yeah. Godzilla Kong Supernova.
Okay. Godzilla X Kong Supernova, isn't it?
Yeah. Some people has it just like Godzilla X Kong and others Godzilla Kong because in subtitles the X is silent, I guess.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to it myself. Yeah. You could hear me also on the Pirate Core Music Podcast when we put out one, or if you go to the Pirate Core Entertainment Podcast, we'll have episodes out like that when that comes out. But that's about it for this particular episode of the podcast. We will be back next week covering Monarch Season 2 entitled Trespass. And the synopsis for that one, Dimitri?
To get Hiroshi's device back, Shaw and the team execute a daring heist at Apex Cybernetics.
Great, there's a heist going on. They know they're going to grab some stuff. It's going to be cool. Awesome. And we're in for a lot more stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so with that, I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm Dimitri.
Don't get stomped on, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.